Everybody watched her dance. Guys and girls alike just couldn't seem to break away from the hypnotic sway. The girl had just walked into the bar, gone straight to the middle of the room and started dancing. Just like that, we were all under her spell. Had I known then what I know now, I would have turned and run as far and fast as I could. I would have tried to anyway. It's hard to describe, but just one look at that girl was enough to ensnare you. She was perfect. Waist-length red hair, milky skin, and eyes that burned into your soul. The first guy plucked up the courage to try his luck. He was without a doubt the best-looking man in the room. He knew it too. He walked over to her and opened his mouth to say something. She put a finger on his lips before any words could escape them, smiled, and shook her head. Something about the way she turned him down hit me like a mace to the stomach. It was without doubt the most brutal thing I'd seen. She didn't insult him, didn't laugh in his face or throw a drink over him. She let him know, without saying a word, that she would never deign to let him so much as speak to her. Other men and women approached her over the course of the evening. Every one of them left dejected. They were lucky. I never thought I'd stand a chance. After seeing the people she'd already turned away, what hope did a chubby, short 19-year-old geek have? Better to preserve what dignity I had and sip my drink alone. When she pointed at me and beckoned for me to join her, I felt as though I was in a dream. I have to admit that despite being sat in the corner of the room, I actually looked behind me to see if she was looking at somebody else. Nope. She wanted me. I froze. There wasn't enough alcohol in the world to give me the courage to dance with her. She laughed and danced her way over to me. A moment later, she took my head in her hands and kissed me full on the lips. That kiss. It was like nothing I'd ever experienced. Better than sex. It sent hellfire coursing through my brain and set every nerve ending ablaze. Every forbidden, perverted thought I'd ever had come rushing to my consciousness. I felt proud to be an animal, a creature whose instincts compelled it to lust and violence. Nothing was beyond me. I could do whatever I wanted, to whoever I wanted. Then it was over. Humanity came flooding back. The reality of social norms, ethics, and morality reasserted themselves, and I remembered who I was. I was a chubby, short, 19-year-old geek who had no business thinking and feeling the way I had. That wasn't who I was. You bet it was who I wanted to be, though. Deep down in that place where sense gives way to desire, that was what I wanted. I think she could sense that. I think that's why she picked me. "It's a rush, isn't it?" she said. "Getting a taste of the beast within is always a rush." I stammered something incomprehensible. My head was still reeling from the kiss. She smiled, and I, like a rat, staring into the eyes of a viper. "Give me a number." Sure," I managed. "Do you want me to text it to you? Do you have your phone with you? I could write it down if you prefer. Do you have a pen?" She held up a hand before I could continue rambling. "Just tell me your phone number. I have an excellent memory." I did as I was told. "I'll see you again soon." With that, she left. I spent the next 3 days in agony. I couldn't get that kiss out of my mind. The way I'd felt left me ashamed and aroused in equal measure. I spent every waking moment replaying the scenario in my head, trying to get another taste of how it had awakened some primal creature within me. Every night, I dreamt of that girl. She had my number, but hadn't given me hers. Looking back on it, it's amazing just how much power you give over a person. Would she call back? Would I ever see her again? Was it all just a cruel prank? When she finally did call, my phone didn't display her number, but I recognized her voice instantly though. Her words were like poison dripping into honey. "Meet me at the bank in an hour." Click. I didn't even have time to ask which bank she meant. The powerlessness of my situation began to dawn on me. I couldn't just refuse to go. I might never have another chance for another kiss. She had me well and truly dangling on her hook. In the end, I set off for the closest bank to my house. Sure enough, she appeared exactly 1 hour after she'd hung up the phone. I realize how this sounds now I'm writing it down. I'm sure some of you are thinking, fuck that, I'd run. That's exactly what I should have done. I couldn't do it though. All it took was one kiss to make me an addict. "Hi," I said as she approached. "I've been thinking about you a lot. I wondered if maybe you want to get a coffee or something?" "I don't drink coffee." "Oh, okay. Maybe a bite to eat?" "No thanks. How much do you have in savings?" I blinked. "Not much. A couple of £100? Perfect. You can make an ATM withdrawal." Not as many questions that way. "You want my savings?" I said it half a question, half as a statement. I couldn't quite believe what I was hearing. "That depends. You want another kiss?" I shook my head. Enough was enough. This was some kind of scam and I wasn't going to be a victim anymore. All I had to do was turn around and walk away. I didn't need another kiss. As soon as the thought entered my head, my body rebelled. My skin itched and my palms started to sweat. I gritted my teeth against a sudden rush of pain in my stomach. Money wasn't everything. Another kiss was worth it. I withdrew the cash. "Good dog," she said. She leaned in and kissed me. It wasn't as good as the first time. The first time, I'd never experienced anything so intensely pleasurable. Even so, the feeling of power and virility I'd been trying in vain to remember flooded to me once more. All of those dark thoughts and urges resurfaced, and I knew there was nothing bad or wrong about them. Humans are animals. Animals fight and fuck. Animals rape and kill. The sensation receded, leaving me feeling confused, guilty, and turned on. I opened my eyes. She was gone. "You know you can tell me anything, don't you?" my mum said. Since Dad passed away, Mum had been trying to be extra motherly to me and my sister. Full cooked breakfasts, family board game nights, the works. She looked at me with deep and genuine concern. "I'm fine," I lied. "Just flu or something." It had been 3 weeks since my last kiss. Nothing else mattered. Not food, not sleep, not even family. My whole body ached with the need for another kiss. My skin crawled as though the insects were burrowing into it. Every time I drifted into unconsciousness, my dreams were full of monsters and suffering. I rolled over in bed. I didn't want to look at my mum. I couldn't face her. "I love you, Jason." I didn't reply. My bedroom door shut, and my mum's footsteps faded away. I heard a faint sob. I screwed my eyes shut and tried not to think about my last kiss. It was impossible. I may as well have tried not to breathe. "It's drugs, isn't it?" my sister said. I hadn't heard her come in. "No, Alex, it's not drugs." "Bullshit." I sighed, rolled over, and looked her straight in the eye. "It's not drugs." "Right. Okay then. Let's pretend I believe you. If it's not drugs, what is it? It sure as hell isn't the flu." "A girl," I sighed. "A girl? Jason, you're a mess. You don't eat, you don't talk, you just stay in your room and lie on your bed. I get that love can be rough, but come on." "I don't love her." "What?" "I said I don't love her. I fucking hate the bitch, okay?" Alex took a step back. I hadn't realized I'd been shouting. I sighed. It felt good to tell the truth, even if it was only a partial truth. I did hate the girl who kissed me. I hated her for what she'd done to me. I hated her for not calling me for 3 torturous weeks. I hated her because I so badly wanted another kiss. "What's her name? Whatever she did to you, I'll knock her out for it." "I don't know her name." My phone buzzed. I answered it straight away. "Meet me in my house. I'll text you the address." Click. "That was her, wasn't it?" Alex said. "No." "Don't lie to me. Where are you going?" "Out." I pushed my way past her. She grabbed me by the shoulder. I span around, almost ready to hit her until I saw the dampness in her eyes. Please don't go to her. I took her hand off my shoulder. I wanted to hug her, to apologize to her, but I was too ashamed. With my head down and tears running down my face, I left. The girl's house was on the outskirts of town, where the city started to give way to countryside. To call the building a house would be like calling the works of Salvador Dali doodles. The thing was a mansion, secured behind enormous walls topped with viciously barbed iron railings. As soon as I approached, the gate opened for me, allowing me onto a driveway the size of a small street. As I walked towards the front door, I took a moment to look at the garden. I didn't recognize most of the flowers, but I knew foxgloves and nightshades when I saw them. Beautiful, deadly flowers, here and there. The garden was studded with marbled sculptures. Each one depicted a naked person in agony. There were men impaled on spikes or being set on by slavering wolves. Women wept as their bodies were engulfed in sculpted flame. She stepped out of the front door, her face split by a cruel sneer. "I want you to give me a present," she said in a sing-song voice. Her hands were held behind her back. "What do you want?" I asked. I'd intended for it to come out as a hiss. I wanted to show that I still had some power over myself. Instead, the words came as a whimper. "Nails." "Nails?" I repeated. My thoughts turned to the marble sculptures and tortures and a little bit of sharp metal could do. "What do you want nails for?" "I want your nails." "Oh, okay." I was suddenly relieved. "Whatever, do you have any scissors?" She laughed and shook her head. From behind her back, she produced a pair of pliers. "No," I whispered. "Yes." "Not like that. Please, not like that." She pouted and held the pliers out to me. "No nails, no kiss." I swallowed back a sob. I could already feel my heart beating out of a manic drum roll. The thought of what I had to do knocked me sick. The thought of not getting another kiss was like having red hot needles pushed into every pore. I took the pliers. For a long while, I stood there just looking at my hands. My consciousness seemed to be coming from somewhere else, as though I was watching my own body from another plane of existence. I closed the pliers on the nail of my left thumb and started pulling. The pain was unbearable. I watched through tear-blurred eyes as millimeter by millimeter, a red line grew at the base of my nail. My fist clenched around the pliers and I pulled with all my strength, screaming with agony as I did. The nail moved less than a centimeter. I wasn't going to be able to pull it off in one go. "That's it," she crooned. "Just ease it out. Don't worry. It'll grow back." Minutes crawled by like hours. I screamed until I could only choke. With one last pull, the nail came free. My hands shaking and wet with blood and sweat. I put my thumbnail into her cupped hands. Despite the snot dribbling down my face, I leaned in for the kiss. She backed away. "No, no, no. That's no good." "I gave you my fucking nail." I cried. I hated her more than I thought was possible. I said I wanted nails. Plural. "You have another thumb and 8 fingers to go yet." I pulled at my hair, wailing with frustration, pain and anger. She stepped forward and tousled my hair. "Ah, poor little doggy doesn't want his kiss." I made a grab for her. If she wouldn't give me a kiss, then I'd take one from her. The moment my hands touched her, something like an electric shock passed through my hands and burned its way down to my feet. Searing agony knocked me to the floor. It took me a good 15 seconds before I could breathe again. "Just for that?" she hissed. "I'll have your toenails as well." 3 months passed with no call. My last kiss had barely been enough to take the edge off the pain. As you might expect, My mother and sister were horrified when they found out what I'd done to my fingers and toes. They phoned the police straight away. I told the officers what I could. The description I gave could have matched any number of women. My phone had no sign of any strangers calling or texting. The address I told them about revealed nothing but empty fields. None of that came as a surprise to me. I was pretty sure I'd gone way beyond the point where I could be shocked. Whoever the girl who kissed me was, I was certain she wasn't truly human. My drug test came back negative, eliminating my family's theory that I'd started taking heroin or something. With the negative drug tests, the police quickly lost interest. They saw no reason to suspect I was being abused by family and passed me over to the care of a psychiatrist. Telling the truth didn't make me feel any better, especially since nobody believed me. My sister figured I'd been rejected by a girl and had a breakdown. My psychiatrist was certain that my so-called succubus was an entirely creation of my disturbed mind. He theorized the red-haired girl was a projection of deep-seated sadomasochistic fantasies. I was too preoccupied with my own suffering to pay much attention to the people around me. I shambled through life like a zombie. The physical effects of the kiss withdrawal were crippling. My skin itched and burned. It felt like I was being bitten from within by an army of fire ants. Until my nails grew back, I'd resorted to scratching myself with a fork, leaving bloody trails down my arms and chest. My nightmares started to spill over into my waking life. Here and there I'd see something scuttling on the edge of my vision. Shadowy figures loomed over my bed, reaching out with taloned hands to torment me. I saw maggots in my food and centipedes in my drink. Life had become hell on earth. Then, she came back. The knocking woke me up in the middle of the night. Somebody was pounding on the front door with the force of a battering ram. "Mum, the door," I said, still drowsy from the fitful sleep. Bang, bang, bang. "Mum, Alex, can you see who's there, please?" Bang, bang, bang. I swore and stumbled out of bed. But I didn't hear any movement from my family, so I slipped on some clothes and went downstairs. I opened the door just as another set of knocks strong enough to crack the wood, started. A huge man in a suit stood in the doorway. He had the look of a bouncer or an archetypal hired goon. "She wants to see you," he said in a voice too gentle for his appearance. I said nothing and looked past him. A black limousine was parked in front of my house, its windows tinted to stop anybody from looking inside. I took a step back. "Mum!" I shouted, panic starting to overwhelm me. "Alex!" "She has them," the man said. He sounded sympathetic. "I'm taking you to see them." "How? Where?" I stammered. My mind struggled to put together a logical explanation for how my family could be kidnapped without me noticing. I gave in. Logic didn't apply to that demon. "Come on, it's time to go." The man put a hand on my shoulder and led me towards the car. Partway there, when I'd managed to recover my senses a little, I asked it a question that plagued me almost as much as my addiction. "Who is she?" She's the worst thing that ever happened to me," the man said. He fought back a sob and squeezed my shoulder in an almost fatherly way. "Just don't make her angry. Whatever you do, don't make her angry." He opened the back door of the limousine and waited for me to get in before heading over to the driver's seat. She was inside, clad in fur and diamonds like some sort of celebrity. She smiled and pushed a glass of wine into my hand. I didn't drink it. "Let's talk business," she said as the limo started to move. "I don't want another kiss. I want my family." Nobody wants another kiss. Not when they think it through rationally, at least. No. This is about craving. You don't want a kiss. You crave it. Deep down, I think you'd do anything for another kiss. "Where's my family?" "They're safe. Not exactly comfortable, but they haven't come to any harm." I relaxed a little, Some instinct told me that wherever she was, she couldn't lie. More precisely, whatever she said just had to be. You're a demon, aren't you? You're a succubus. She smirked. Poor little doggy. I'm more than a demon. I'm the mother of demons. Consort of the accuser. Queen bitch. So you want my soul? I felt my mouth go dry as I said the words. It was like waking up to find that monster from your nightmare was stood by your bed. Clever boy. In return, I'll kiss you once a week, every week. After 3 long months of withdrawal, that has to be at least a little tempting, right? She was right about that. A kiss every week? I'd already been through hell. My soul couldn't be worth much. What was damnation compared to a kiss every week? Alright. Deal. Good dog, she purred. So what do I do? Shake hands? Sign my name in blood? No, that won't cut it, she said. There was a delight in her voice that made my blood run cold. You can't just give your soul away. You have to do something to lose it. I felt the limousine slow to a stop. The big man stepped out and opened the door for us. She stepped out first and offered me her hand. I took it. We walked across soft, damp grass towards a structure resembling a concrete garden shed. My heart threatened to break through my ribs as we got closer. I knew my family was inside. I knew she wanted me to hurt them. She opened the door. My mother and sister were bound to metal chairs. They'd been gagged and tears streaked their faces. When they saw me, they tried to scream their pleas. My heart broke at the sight of them. Something cold and heavy was pressed into my hand. I looked down at the gun and started to weep. I can't, I said, turning towards the red-haired girl. I can't shoot them. Oh, you poor puppy, she said in mock sympathy. The gun isn't for them. It's for you. For me? Yes. It's for if you want to go back out of the deal. Put the gun to your head, pull the trigger, and you have my word I'll let your family go. I didn't have to think about it. I aimed the gun straight at the bitch. She pulled a melodramatic face of shock. Oh wow, didn't see that one coming. Here's the thing. If you shoot me, I won't die. I can't die. What I can do is make damn sure you, your mother, and your whore sister spend many a long year just wishing you were dead. I turned the gun away from her and put it to my own head. My hands trembled as I heard my mother wail. Very noble. Sacrifice yourself to save your family? Better than just walking away and facing life with no more kisses, right? She put a certain emphasis on the word kisses, and the effect was instantaneous. My mind turned straight to the thought of that first kiss. I couldn't shake the memory of just how good it was. She cocked her head and sneered. She knew she got me. Mind you, a kiss a week. Now that could be heaven on earth. It'd be cruel of your family to stand in the way of your happiness, wouldn't it? I sobbed in frustration and shame as I turned the gun towards my mother. I couldn't look her in the eyes. I tried to ignore her muffled screams as I pulled the trigger. The shot echoed across the countryside. I'd missed. The red-haired girl held my wrist, pointing the gun a foot above my mother's head. I stared at her in confusion. I told you, the gun isn't for them, she hissed. She pried it out my fingers and dropped it to the floor. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all of you. I turned around and the sound of the big man's voice. I looked down at what he was holding and my heart sank. My family screamed. No, I whispered. Anything but that. If you want your kisses, this is how I want you to surrender your soul. Please. Just let me use the gun." "No." I took a few trembling steps towards the big man, knowing I stood on the precipice of damnation, knowing that if I did what she wanted me to do, I deserved to go to hell. A kiss every week. Every week. I couldn't stop myself from thinking about it. I took the kerosene and the matches.